The state's highest court recently ruled that a group of employees at a Franklin County farm are entitled to overtime because the work they performed was not the same as farming. Farm work is exempt from overtime under state law. The Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court ruled in favor of 15 plaintiffs in the case against Chang and Sons Enterprises of South Deerfield in a decision that reverses a Superior Court ruling. Connecting Point's Ray Hershel sat down with attorneys Bill Newman from the American Civil Liberties Union and Claudia Quintero, who represents migrant farm workers, to talk about the significance of this ruling.
This case involved workers who were working at Chang Farms up in Whately, Massachusetts, who were packaging bean sprouts. And so the issue here was whether these workers were really engaged in farm working, and if they weren't, whether they were entitled to overtime pay for any hours over 40 that they worked.
And I understand that the Supreme Judicial Court overturned a ruling in the Superior Court with regard to the exemption for these workers. Can you explain how that went?
Yes, so we had two cross motions for summary judgment down in Superior Court where the opposing party was arguing that these workers were indeed engaged in farm work, and because of that they were exempt from the overtime provisions of the law. And so the Superior Court found in their motion for summary judgment, granted their motion and denied ours, and the Supreme Judicial Court reversed those findings.
So basically the Supreme Judicial Court ruled that the exemption does not apply to these workers, that they are in fact entitled to overtime after 40 hours. Is that correct?
Yes. The Supreme Judicial Court defined farming as growing and harvesting and said that anything that was not growing or harvesting was not considered farm work and therefore eligible for overtime.
Attorney Newman, I want to get you in on the discussion as well. What prompted the ACLU to get involved in this case as well?
It's a law reform case. It's of crucial importance to a segment of our society who is often exploited and badly treated. Those are persons in the agricultural sector. These are individuals who are entitled, in our judgment, to be protected by Massachusetts labor laws. They haven't been protected. They need to be protected. This was a case in first impression at the Supreme Judicial Court. Are these persons who are working in agriculture somehow exempt from overtime because they have something to do with food? And the Superior Court said, yes, well, they're involved in this food production somehow, so therefore the agricultural exception to overtime applies to them, which the Supreme Judicial Court said quite emphatically and unanimously, no, it doesn't. These are persons who are essentially working at a industrial type job. They are not farming, they are not engaged in the actual primary farming. Massachusetts provides more protection for our workers than the federal labor law, and they're covered and they're entitled to overtime. Many of these individuals working 70 hours a week and not getting a dime of overtime. And the Supreme Judicial Court said, that's wrong, and that's not what the Massachusetts law provides.
I understand there were, 15 individuals who were involved in this case who worked on the farm.
They work in a building.
In a building.
It's a hydroponic growing operation. Very, very few people are actually involved in the growing, but it's the packaging and the sorting and the getting ready for market and putting on the pallets and getting ready for the trucks. That's what these folks do.
What's going to happen with their case now that the Supreme Judicial Court has made its ruling? Understand it goes back to the Superior Court level. And what is this for? Is this to determine amounts of overtime, money that they are entitled to for back pay? Tell us what the angle is going to be now in Superior Court.
Right, so it gets down to the Superior Court where we will then be determining damages owed to each of the workers.
Any idea how much this may involve? As you indicated, sometimes they were working upwards of 70 hours a week. That's 30 hours over the 40-hour usual work week. Any idea in terms of dollars how significant this is?
I mean, we're still in the process of doing our calculations and really determining what the amount will be for sure. But we know it's upwards of at least $100,000, but we don't know exact.
Now, I'd be curious, either one of you could answer this certainly, what implications does this ruling have perhaps for other similar workers not only in this western Massachusetts farm, but perhaps in other farms across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts? Does this have implications beyond the local individuals?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, when the Supreme Judicial Court defined farm work as growing and harvesting, I mean, really just any worker who's working even at farms who are not engaged in that, who are packaging, putting on pallets, things like that, would be entitled to overtime pay.
And how, Bill, did you want to add something?
Well, I wanted to say that, again, this is the first time that the Supreme Judicial Court or any appellate court has interpreted this statute, and it clearly said Massachusetts is going to protect workers. And it has statewide application because this is the Supreme Judicial Court. And the court itself thought this was a very important case because it took it on direct appellate review. It bypassed the appeals court and said, this is of such significance that we, the Supreme Judicial Court, should decide it.
When did this issue first come to mind, come to your attention? And how long has this been in the legal channel?
Well, it came to mind. I mean, our agency, we represent farm workers primarily. In my position, I represent farm workers, and so we have a person who's been sort of going out and seeing what are the issues at play, and so this has been percolating for a while, a few years, where we really were considering what are the protections of these workers, because as you may or may not know, in Massachusetts, farm workers make $8 an hour and they're exempt from overtime. And so when we say farm workers, we mean people who are growing and harvesting. And so really thinking about what are ways that we can protect folks who are working on the farms, and in this situation, it manifested itself on folks who are working on the farms. They're not really engaged in farm working. So it's been, in the process for a little bit.
For a while, yeah. I understand when you made your arguments before the Supreme Judicial Court, I think you said they had 130 days to make a decision. And didn't this decision go in your favor on the very last day? Were you a little concerned, apprehensive about the time frame here that was involved after you concluded your remarks?
There were only a dozen emails back and forth saying, what's taking so long? Yes, of course. I mean, but the court did not say we're going to take longer, and so come day 130, we expected the decision.
Okay. And we've got less than a minute left in the program. I suppose the final question would be, what do both of you feel is the message here delivered by this Supreme Judicial Court, and what this is going to mean going down the road from here on in terms of these individual workers?
Well, I think the message, like Bill stated, is pretty loud and clear that, Massachusetts wants to protect its workers and wants to provide protections under the law that help them receive, the pay that they are entitled to.
Bill, you got the last 30 seconds.
We depend on farm workers for all we eat. Without them, we don't live. And those persons are subject to being exploited. They are subject to being treated in ways that we would think simply should not occur in our world and in our Commonwealth. And in Massachusetts now, our Supreme Judicial Court has ruled that those individuals who will receive the protection of the labor laws is a much wider group of people, and those who will not receive the protections of our labor law is a much narrower group of people. And this is a win for everyone in Massachusetts, because these are people whose work we all depend on for our own lives.